feel that there's a lot of dogma that surrounds hip-hop history, and that dogma exists because a lot of our OGs, and I'm gonna be very blunt and honest with you guys, when they sit in front of a camera or a journalist, I feel as though their main goal is to exalt themselves. So they speak about hip hop in terms of what they did first. And I just feel that chapter 1 in the city of hip hop isn't necessarily downplaying the contributions of the OGs. It's more so, to your point earlier when you were speaking so eloquently, Dave, is more so asking why. Why were you the first, whether it was Grand Wizard Theodore, who we credit for being the DJ that decided to scratch records, coax a sound out of a turntable, a clunky machine that wasn't meant for you to scratch? Or what inspired you to take a spray can and use your city as your canvas? Why was it that youth like TBB, the Bronx Boys, and Spy from the Crazy Commanders crew, and Zulu Kings like Charlie Rock, why were they and their friends going over to a Crazy Eddie store? Totally dating myself right now, but Crazy Eddie was like a store that you would go to buy records, or a store like PC Richards where you would buy refrigerators for your kitchen. These youth, Bronx kids, would go to these stores, steal cardboard from the back of the store, walk into a park, rip up the cardboard, tape it to cement, and use that cardboard as their dance floor. So I feel the OGs will sit down in front of a camera and say, I was the first to decide to use cardboard as a dance floor. I was the first to spray paint my city. I was the first to scratch. For my question, or our question, I wrote the book along with Rasul Moab. Our question is in chapter 1, Genesis, why were you the first? And the why is because these Bronx kids were marginalized. They were poor. There were projects, courtesy of our government, that were implemented. Benign neglect is what I'm referencing specifically. This is a memo that was written by Patrick Moynihan, who was the advisor to the then president in the late 60s, early 70s, Richard Nixon. He wrote a memo called Benign Neglect. And in that memo, he was basically advising his president that there was so much that the government could do about the black plight. And the thing about the black plight is in the Bronx, I'm sure you know this, Dave, because you live there, Latinos, specifically Puerto Ricans, lived alongside black people. And so in pathologizing black people, in this benign neglect memo, black people are drug users, they set fires to their buildings, the youth grows up in single parent homes. And so in pathologizing black people, there was neglect. Police were defunded, ambulance were defunded, firemen, weren't putting out fires that weren't set by the youth, they were set by the landlords of these buildings. And these kids needed to express that frustration that I'm sure they felt. I was in from the Bronx. You can speak to this more.
Let me just jump in for a second.